Hello, my name is Lionel Chiacchiarilli. Welcome to the content overview of the course Science and Technology of Rigid Polyurethane Foams. Please let me give you a very brief personal introduction. I have a background in materials science, holding a degree in materials engineering from the Sabato Institute in Argentina. The skills that I've developed during this time were mainly associated to polymeric composite materials and in particular nanotechnology. At that time, carbon nanotubes were going to revolutionize both academia and industry, so I decided to acquire skills in this area. I continued my studies at The Ohio State University in the United States. I was thrilled with an opportunity that I had there, which was related to the development of new catalysts for the electrochemical reduction of carbon dioxide to liquid fuels. At that time, this was a very big opportunity for me to work in such a relevant area, with a particular emphasis on technologies which help to alleviate global warming. In this regard, the project that I've worked with serves as a benchmark in this area, where I've studied degradation mechanisms of electrocatalysts used for carbon dioxide conversion to formate, and in a master's degree in that university. After this, I had another very important opportunity which led me to the University of Perugia, where I joined a group specialized in polymers and composite materials, working alongside an European project called HyperComp. With this project, I acquired a lot of skills, particularly within the polyurethane industry. I was able to work with key industrial partners such as Huntsman, as well as academic counterparts like QV Leuven. I developed skills within the field of thermosetting polyurethanes as well as nanostructured polymers, achieving a PhD in innovative materials. Nowadays, I work as a researcher in Argentina and serve as a professor at both the University of Buenos Aires and the Technological Institute of Buenos Aires. I'm currently involved in R&D activities related to bio-based polyurethanes. Please feel free to check out my institutional presentation video as well as to visit my YouTube channel if you want to know more details about it. As a researcher, one of the main activities that I perform has to do with teaching and, of course, learning. I have found that there's a need for courses of the polyurethane industry, particularly for people which want to start working in this field or other people which want to excel in their career. I hope that this course will help you to fulfill this need. Whenever you have a doubt or concern about polyurethanes, please don't hesitate to contact me. The great advantage of having access to this course is that you will always have access to the various updates that I will be making continuously. A final comment about the image that there is here in the background. The image is designed to emphasize on the ramification of this industry, in the sense that polyurethanes cover a vast amount of industries, as we will see in the course. So let's start with three basic questions which are essential for you to decide if you want to take this course. The first one is, of course, is this for you? Is this course for you? If you're a designer, this course will give you the skills you need to understand the whole range of rigid foams which are available in industry, its properties, characterization methods, as well as technologies used for manufacturing. If you're a technician and want to work in this field, you will certainly need the skills which are taught in this course for a proper understanding of the rigid foam industry. You'll need to know which polyols and isocyanates are used and how to select those. Also, learn which additives are available, such as catalysts, surfactants, as well as physical and chemical blowing agents. All this technical background will give you the tools to have a successful career. The same arguments can be made if you are an engineer as well as a scientist and also a chemical distributor. You will need to acquire the skills developed in this course so as to properly engage with your colleagues and provide innovative solutions to typical problems found in the industry. So, what about the prerequisites of the course? Well, if you have a technical background, particularly in chemistry, you will easily understand the concepts covered in this course. While a technical background is not strictly required, we will primarily focus on technical aspects rather than let's say, general industry concepts. This is an introductory level course, so the concepts will be taught in a simple and concise way. And don't worry, I'm always available to answer any questions or consider any suggestion. Please feel free to reach out if you need further clarification on any of the concepts discussed. So, what will you learn in this course? Well, broadly speaking, you will understand the importance of the rigid polyurethane foam industry and the fields where you can have a career. You will be able to use the properties of isocyanates and polyols to prepare rigid polyurethane foams with an understanding of the most relevant chemical reactions and the details of the forming process. You will learn how to select polyols and isocyanates for rigid foams applications, emphasizing on the role of this selection on the main properties of the foams. You will also understand which are the main properties and how to measure them. Finally, Finally, we will go into the basics of the manufacturing processes, including cup and batch forming, sandwich and spray foam polyurethane. So let's talk about the general sections. The course has a total of 4 sections. We will start with the section about basic polyurethane concepts. We will talk about polyurethane markets and applications, emphasizing on the versatility of the polyurethane industry. We will then talk about market share and market industries, where the role of each industry is of paramount importance to understand how the polyurethane chain value is formed. Finally, we will talk about the importance of the isocyanate precursor, but emphasizing on its relevance to manufacture polyurethane materials. The next 3 sections are based on the main concepts, main properties, and applications of rigid polyurethane foams. Let's take a look at one of these sections. Section 2. In this section, we will deal with the main concepts of rigid polyurethane foams. We will start with a general classification covering all types of rigid foams. We will give them details about the isocyanates and polyols, which are used in this field, giving specific characteristics and suppliers. For example, when we talk about isocyanates, we will talk about the main characteristic of isocyanates used in rigid foams. For example, you need an isocyanate with a high functionality of at least 2.7. I will also give details about the isocyanates available in industry with datasheets and trade names frequently used in industry, or which are available. The same strategy is done for the polyols, the catalysts, the blowing agents, as well as surfactants. I will then talk about the formulations used in industry, the typical formulations. For example, we will cover formulations covering SPF, spray polyurethane foam. We will cover also PIR, polyisocyanate foams. Just remember that these are real formulations which can be implemented to obtain any type of rigid foams. We will deal with real formulations which are actually used in industry. We will end this section with 2 important concepts, the microstructure of rigid foams and the foaming process. You will need to understand these in order to grasp the fundamental concepts related to the formulation of rigid foams. So let's take a look at the section 3. Well, this section is called Main Properties and Characterization Techniques. In this section, we will start with very important measurements such as stoichiometry, density, and compressive mechanical tests. These are fundamental characterization techniques which also give important properties of rigid foams. For example, we need the stoichiometry in order to obtain the salt size. I tackle this by presenting the 2 methods used for this measurement, optical and electronic micrographs. We then talk about the anisotropy of cells and also of the cell walls. Density is also a very important property, mostly because there are several ways to measure it and you need to know which one is mostly used in literature as well as in industry. We will of course cover thermal conductivity, which is the most important property of rigid polyurethane foams. We will deal with the definitions of initial and edge thermal conductivity and also the different methods which are used to measure it. such as transient and steady-state methods. We will also deal with some other very key relevant or important properties such as dimensional stability, friability, as well as others such as, for example, low temperature behavior and flammability. These are properties which are not explicitly written in this slide. So, well, let's hope that I can see you in the course. Currently the course is listed in Udemy, so if you want to take it, just feel free to follow or use the following QR code. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's hope to meet you in one of my courses. Please feel free to comment here below if you would like to have training in some specific area within the polyurethane industry, both at scientific and industrial levels. Let's hope to see you soon in the future.